The Supreme Court may have their opinion on Obamacare, but let them come and enforce it.
In fact, think about Thomas Jefferson's attitude toward the federal courts. His argument was the federal courts are part of the problem. I mean, you want me to go and refer my disputes to them? They're part of the problem. The problem is the federal government, and last I checked, the federal courts are part of the federal government. They can't possibly be impartial arbiters.
A conservative group called the 10th Amendment Center has been pushing a lot of the anti-health reform stuff. But they put that in the context of nullification, and they're pushing for other kinds of nullification, too.
We have a federal health care nullification act to reject not just Obamacare mandates, but the entire idea that the federal government should be involved in health care at all.
Actually, I think the 10th Amendment now, it's a relic of our failure. And future historians will look back and they'll see all the things that contributed to the demise of American prosperity, and they will say, but all they had to do was follow the 10th Amendment.
What can we do now about the loss of freedom? We can persuade the state governments to defy the feds in areas like health care, where the Constitution gives the federal government zero authority, and to nullify all the laws the Congress has written that are not based on the Constitution.
But one issue that I think that we have to revisit, because the founders understood it, but we have forgotten about it, and that is the principle of nullification.
The federal government, said Jefferson, cannot have a monopoly on determining what its own powers are, because we all know what it's going to do. It's going to suddenly determine that it has more and more and more and more and more powers. It's going to keep on discovering these vast, untapped reservoirs of power. We all know this. I mean, this has happened.
One of the biggest issues at stake tomorrow is in Ohio, where voters go to the polls to decide on an amendment to the Ohio state constitution that would effectively block any implementation of the president's health care overhaul.
Power has to counteract power. You can't expect the 10th Amendment to enforce itself. The states have to assert themselves. That's the idea behind state nullification.